All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Patrick from Patmac Tech. Today we are continuing our um, project that we started in the last video, and we are coming your way to come and identify the tabs and the commands that you see on Power BI before we continue to write some measures on the list of orders and order breakdown. Before we come and write some others, I've reverted these things. So obviously you would have clear knowledge of what we are doing because I'll be using one of the functions to turn it back to what was previously in the video. So if you are watching us, if you are listening to this, I would implore you to follow this channel and then click the notification button so that any video that we would upload, you would have access to it. All right, so not wasting much time, I will start with the file button. So this is where you can get your new report. You can open and save, get your data, import, export, publish. You can have your options and settings right here. And after that, we come to the home tab. So in the home tab, this is where you get your tab to get your data, to import your data, as we were saying in the previous video. We have all these tabs that you can use to import data from various backgrounds and formats. This is where you can use that. So actually, what happens in Power BI is that similar to Excel, you have this whole pane here that covers your data. So if you want it quick, if your data source is actually an Excel workbook, you just have to click here. You don't have to go through the long process. You just click here, and then your data source will just it will give you the avenue to upload. If here you can import from or the Power BI data set, the data mats, the basically databases, you can import from there. And then SQL Server 2, you can import data from SQL Server. Here, if you click on it, it will give you the chance to import. You can also enter data yourself. So if you click here, it's like you having a table. And for instance, the way we're going to write our measures, we just rename it as measures, and then I won't do anything to the column because I will be creating some measures there, so we will come back to it. You load it, and then you have added data to your project. And recent sources too, you can go there, and then if you have been working with it for a very long time and you want to get to one of your sources, it is easier to get there. The next pane that you can see here is when you are actually tampering with the data. So where you can do your queries, you would have your transform. Here you have transform data and then transforming data source. I want us to go to the transform data, which will bring you to the Power Query. So like I said, I reverted all these things so that we can use this for you to see. And at this point, you can make changes to your data as you deem fit. So we've made the changes. All we need to do is to close and apply, and then we would come back and you will see that those changes have been made here. With the Power Query, we will do another video explaining how Power Query works into detail, so that you can benefit from it. Now, if you want to refresh all your data, this is what you practically use. You click on this one, and then the data will be refreshed for you to be in line, in date with your data, because sometimes you'll be working and because you have not set automatic refresh, this will be your manual refresh for the data to be up to date. Now, this pane will give you options to insert. So here This one will link you to all these objects here. You can add a new visual. This one, you can actually add a text. So let's say we will say sales test. See, so we can add visuals to it, and then you can manipulate your text here at any time, And then if you want to move it, you would have to move it in a way that will benefit. Yeah. See, so you have it. And then here too, you can change. There are some things you can work here. You can change the colors. So when you come here, the background color, you can change it to any color that you want. And then your text color, and voila, this is what you've got. So this is a very quick way of inserting text into your dashboard. It gives a clear and a simple way to identify your dashboard. So if you want to add more visuals you can add more visuals to your dashboard. Let's see if we can get something. Imports. Okay, so I don't want to use this at the moment. So, but this is how you go around it. Now, if you are writing a measure, so let's assume that, okay, so we would, if you want to write a measure, all you need to do is to click on the new measure and it will write for you. But usually, if you are working on a project, your measures may be many. So it is usually best practice to organize your measure in one table and sometimes in different folders in a table. And that one we would also talk about that. And then quick measure. That one is a quickest way to this one. It doesn't move anything. It doesn't change anything. And then if you finish sensitivity, usually you need to have some visuals here for the sensitivity to come in. Usually when you are done, you publish and share. And when you click on the publish, it will ask you to save it before you publish it to Power BI service online for other people to be able to see. The next tab is the insert tab. Now, the insert tab, the first thing you see is to add another page to your report, which you can also get here. See, so a new page, add another page is another way of getting pages to your report. Now, if you want to add a new visual, which again you can get here, as time goes on, I'm going to talk about importing other visuals to add to the default visuals that Power BI has given. And this one too also will give you more visuals. If you have visuals, sometimes you can download some visuals that are not in the Power BI market. And if you want to add them, the shortcut is here. You can add from file or you can add from source. The Q&A is a function that Power BI has given that you can actually ask Power BI questions, and then it will give you an idea how to present your data in your tables. So it's a very useful tool that you can use. Key influencers, all these are AI visuals. Now, key influencers is an AI visual that is quite useful. It can show you the key influencers. Like if we start writing our measures and then doing our visuals, we are going to use key influencers for you to see how that one too works. At the end of the day, you would have to choose what you want to see whenever you are working on your data. You need to know what you want to see, and I can assure you that key influencers, if you are working on some data, key influencers is very, very, very useful. The decomposition tree is also an AI visual. that gives you into debt. It depends. It also depends on the data that you are working on. Usually, it works well with sales data and finance. I think, yeah. So you would have to try it out and see how best it can visualize your data for you. Smart narrative. So let's assume you have a table. You have a table, and then let's say the table, and you have country, city, order ID, region, and say state. So you have this. Let me bring in some values. Let me bring in some values. Let's say quantity and profits. Okay, so we have this. We have this here. All right. If you decide to bring the smart narrative, okay, let's just take this out. Smart narrative. No, sir, I mean, we don't yet support. Oh, okay. Okay, but practically they don't support the tables. Let's see if we can get this and get this and get order ID, profits and sales. So let's assume order ID, let's get quantity. Product name. Okay, so let's assume this is what we've got somewhere here. Product name is not very useful here. Let's take city. Okay, so city, and then we do, let's see if smart narrative will work here. So you see, this is how smart narrative works. So it's telling you that at this number, London had the highest sum of profit, and it was so and so percent higher than Stockholm. So it would narrate everything that you have done for you, you know, which is quite useful when you are presenting these things to your stakeholders. It's very, very useful, extremely useful. So that is an example. Then we come to the power platforms. These power platforms, Power Apps, Power Automate, and Big Data Report. We are going to do a whole video on these ones so that we do practicals and get into it very detailed for you, so you can watch out for that. Now, text box, that is what I have done. When you can insert like text box like this. And now buttons. So let's say we have 2 pages. We can actually insert a button like this one, and then we will tell Power BI that action, let's do this, a page navigation. And then in the page navigation, let's go to page 2. So if you hold your control key and then you click on it, it should take you to page 2. You see, and that is basically how you can get lots of buttons. You can get lots of buttons for you to use. You can actually bookmark, and a bookmark too. I'm going to do a whole new video on bookmark. So that is how it works. And then we come to shapes. We can also add shapes anytime, and then we can, as time goes on, as we do our visuals, and when we are doing a video on visualization, we are going to do all these things for you to see how they work. And then images. If you want to bring in an image, like say this one, you know, Batman Tech, to make it look more presentable, more presentable, you know, so something like this. And it all depends on what you want to see. This is just for the purpose of this video while we are doing this, and then we come to modeling. So this place shows you how you can work the relationships. So if you have more than 2 tables that some of them are not relating. This is where you can manage the relationships. We will talk about that one too. If this one too is a new measure, just like we are coming to do, and then a quick measure, so this will be the calculation. So let's assume that um, let's come here and then the breakdown, the stuff order. Yeah, let's assume that we we want to do uh, this one plus this one. Yeah, all we need to do is to do new column. So the new column will open a new column, and then we write our DAX here. So let's say trial should be equal to, I will do a video when we are writing the measures. I will explain this into details why you need to have an equal to sign and the DAX that you can use. So this is just for the purpose of the video. So long, so it would Power BI will just suggest it to you if that's what you want, and then you bring so plus um, la. They will suggest it to you. You hit your enter button, and then voila, there you have it. There you have it. So Power BI can do all these things for you, but for the purpose of the video, we are not doing that at the moment. So we were at the modeling, so that's the new column, and then the new table, as we have done before. We get it here. Now the new parameters, you can set parameters, numeric range and fields. You can set parameters to your tables. And when it comes to security, this is where, like, let's say you are analyzing data for your company, and your company wants you to present the data in such a way that management would see some of the stuff, and then another department to see some of the stuff. Some of the stuff are supposed to be for management only. This is where you come and you do it, and then there's going to be a video for that. There's going to be a video for that, which I am going to explain how these things work. So this is where you can actually view as how your visuals are going to be visible to other people. Okay, so Q&A setup too is here to understand people better, review questions, people, the language. This is where you can change the language, and the language schema. We come to the view tab. So the view tab, if you are very familiar with Excel, you would be familiar with these buttons. And this is where you can have your page view to fit to page and actual size, your mobile view, your grades. This is where you can temper with it. Your filters. The filters, usually my filters are always on. And then the bookmark. So this, if you want to add a bookmark to it, that one too, we'll do a video on that as to how you want to use it. The selection. So like this image, which one do you want to come first? You can work things out for the image, which one should be on top of which, you see. So that's the selection for you. Performance analyzer. So after doing everything, sometimes if you are dealing with large data, big data, you would realize that you would perform a function, and it will be taking time to load. This is where you can analyze your everything that you've done, so that you know which one is delaying or which one is not helping the data, so that you know how to make adjustments. Now, this one to synchronize. If you want your slices, like for instance, you have a table. For instance, you have a table, and you have a list of folders. You have city, country, order ID, region, and then you want to let me bring this one to in, so that it would sales quantity profits. Yeah. Now what you can do is you can bring in a slicer that would show for city. So city, I want the slicer to be a drop down. I want a slider to be a drop down. So I can actually select each city and whatever that is associated to the city. So practically it is, and if you want this city to be synchronized to all the pages, this is where you go around it. All right, so optimize. Now, if you want to pause the visuals, if you want to pause visual queries to make multiple edits fast without waiting for visuals to load, is how you go around with it. Now, sometimes you can do some changes that you want to just refresh just the visuals. This is where you come and do it. And then here too, you can optimize your presets, optimize your report settings for interactivity or for query reduction. This is where you come and do it. Performance analyzer, as we have spoken about, you can do it, and then apply all slices button. This is where now the help phase. This is, you can actually, Power BI has got this resources that you can learn from, training videos that you can watch just like these, but this one, documentation, support, the Power BI blog to keep yourself up to date with what is happening in Microsoft. Recently, so many things are going on. It is very advisable to get here and read these things. The community, you can actually join Power BI community. If you have issues, you can go there, share your issues, and possibly you may meet other issues that is quite synonymous to yours. It makes things simple. And then Power BI for developers, submit an idea, external tools. External tools is quite useful. And then examples, get inspired by reports. So if you are creating a report and you want to see other samples like this sales report, if you want to see what other people have done so that at least you compare yours to them, you can actually go there. And the consulting services. So practically this is what Power BI, the buttons are about. Power BI buttons, and obviously this is the visualization pane. You can get everything you want. We will do a video on the drill through, drill down. This is the data view, and then that is it. So if you have any questions, you can type in the comment section, and we would get to you as soon as possible. You can also email us info@platmarktech.co.uk, and then we would get back to you. But I will implore you to like this video, share this video, and we would move on to the next video where we will do some measures. So follow us and click the notification button as at when it comes. Thank you very much.